Hey there, comedy fans. Welcome to My First Joke, the podcast where we dive into the hilarious stories of how comedians got their start. I'm your host, Karim Kanji. Today, I am joined by comedian Monty Scott. Today's episode is brought to you by Welcome to Travel.ca. If you're looking for the best and most affordable all-inclusive trips, cruises, for you and your crew, check out Welcome to Travel.ca and tell them I sent you. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to My First Joke wherever you listen to podcasts. If you enjoy what you hear, share it with your friends, leave a review, and hit us up with those 5 stars. And if you want to stay in the loop, follow me on Instagram at Karim Kanji. All right, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Monty Scott. Monty, thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, buddy. How you doing? I'm feeling.
I'm
It's
doing
nice we're in
well.
spring. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, are you Scarborough based? Are you from Scarborough? Do you have a Scarborough story? Because I saw you at a Scarborough the Joke show.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. It was what was it last fall?
Yes, yes. The weather wasn't so bad because I wasn't wearing a heavy coat. That's
Yeah,
what
it
I
might have been. It
remember.
might have been more like late summer.
Might have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I
yeah.
remember. Yeah. No, well, I'm not Scarborough based. I guess I'm always kind of Scarborough based. I live in East York right now.
Okay,
Um, but I'm only.
you're
We used to do a
close.
show actually by the comedy bar Danforth called 60 Seconds from Scarborough. So it's pretty much 60 seconds from Scarborough. So I'm never too far removed. I lived over by King and Bathurst, and to be honest, I hated being that far away from Scarborough. For real.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my mom lives in Scarborough. I'm always kind of I was the amount of time it took me to get to the DVP made me I had to pull over and puke numerous times.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
I don't like to be too far away. I get weaker the further away I am from Scarborough.
And is that show still running 60 seconds from Scarborough?
We haven't done one in quite some time. But it was like a monthly show. Or it was
Yeah.
kind of like we were doing periodic. So it's going to be coming back at some point or another.
Okay. Okay. Well, you'll have to let me know because I have a Scarborough joke.
Oh, okay,
So
sure.
I've started taking classes 6 months ago at the comedy bar, and
Oh,
my
cool.
first showcase was about my one of my first jobs in Scarborough. So
Nice.
let me know.
Oh, I definitely
But
will. I definitely will. Is
yeah,
it Comedy
well,
Bar Danforth you were doing it?
yeah. And now I'm taking
Mm,
a the advanced class
mm.
at the Blur location.
Well, I see.
Yeah.
Is there like trigonometry in that? What are they what are they doing? It's they turned it up a notch to advance it.
You know what? That is a great question. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'm just taking things slowly because I'm so busy
Sure.
with the life regardless. But
Hmm.
I've always put comedians at a very high level. I said if you've got and I've always admired them, and this is the reason being. Because to be on stage, and whether it's confidence or too many beers, I don't know what the reason is, but to be on stage, to tell jokes, to show confidence, and not to buckle under pressure, it's like comedians, then superheroes, then firemen. That's sort of my ranking.
I definitely appreciate the the admiration. I haven't saved any kittens from trees, but I try not to buckle under pressure whenever I'm on
Yeah,
stage, I guess. Uh,
yeah.
as far as public speaking goes, it is the pinnacle of public speaking. I don't think you can really argue that. As far as I mean, what's not much a higher degree of difficulty to make people audibly laugh.
Yes,
Otherwise, you've not been successful. That's pretty high bar, you know?
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
imagine I tell people like that watch like go watch a comedic movie. One of the funnier comedic movies. How many
Yeah,
times do you laugh out loud compared to going to a comedy show? It is
that is so
almost a
true.
guarantee you're going to laugh out loud a million more times in a comedy show. And
Yes, and out loud, and
you know,
sometimes so too loud.
mm,
Sometimes so.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or laughing
Um,
until your stomach hurts or laughing until your face hurts. I've had that people tell me that many times, like, my face hurts. The amount of times people have told me their face hurts is really a lot, you know? So
Yeah,
that's pretty, you're not going to get that at a movie very often, if
I
ever.
hear you.
Hmm.
What what why did how did you get your start in comedy? What prompted you to want to do this thing?
Well, I mean, do you, well, let me ask you before I answer that.
Yeah, yeah.
Is swearing a concern on this? Do we
No.
swear or not swear?
We
Uh,
can we can speak multiple languages, we can swear. Yeah, no problem.
okay, not that I need to be profane in order to get my point across, but nevertheless, it's good to know. I basically, I guess what I was saying is, I was talking shit my whole life, and I figured
Okay.
eventually, eventually I might as well go pro, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I just always kind of knew I could do it, or always kind of believed I could do it. And then um, as I got a little time in life, sometimes you get uh, I started relatively late in life in comparison to most people, and part of it was you get busy with life, and you don't get a chance to do some of the things you want to,
Fair
and then
enough.
once I did, I got into it, and I just like kept going from there. Once I realized you could book shows and you didn't have to do like Yuck Yuck's amateur night per se or
Yeah.
whatever, and I could just start booking shows. A mutual friend of ours, Dave Mirhaj, he's one of the first guys I actually did stand up comedy with. Actually, the first night I ever
Okay.
did stand up comedy was with Dave, although
Yeah.
he didn't know. I mean, he didn't know me.
He didn't know you. You
Um, yeah, but like we had met, and I was kind of doing that scene where he was ubiquitous in it, so I would see him fairly often, and then I just
Yeah.
started doing more and more, and like went from there.
Good for you. He's I would say he's one of my favorite comedians.
Oh, he's excellent.
Uh
He's super funny. He's a great guy.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I wish him all the best. Um
There's nobody in the world that can
yeah.
kill a stupid small room like Dave. There's nobody.
Yes.
There's no because
Yes.
there could be five people that don't even want to see the show, and Dave
Yeah.
will still kill it. And
Absolutely.
it was something I learned from him. I do well in stupid small rooms too, and a lot of it was I was taking from him is like, there's no reason to think you can't kill this room just because it seems like it would be hard because it's small and it's not a very
Yeah.
good show. And
The f-
so I definitely took that like example from Dave. And although I don't
what's
do it as well as Dave, I do it quite well. So
what's the
although I don't
strangest
know if
room
that.
you've done? What's the strangest room you've
Oh,
performed in?
oh my God. Good question. What was the strangest room? Uh, I mean, I did a strange one was I did a karate studio and
Jeez. With the
in
mats? Are you like on the mats with
yeah,
barefoot?
it was like that. Yeah, it was. I had my shoes on, but otherwise, yeah, it was like a karate studio where we did in outside of Sudbury. I forget the name of the town. It's like a
Oh
suburb
wow.
outside of Sudbury. Yeah, that was an odd one. I did one in Montreal where it was like a kind of a it was like a um there's a bunch of skulls in the walls and stuff, and it was like a um I wouldn't it wasn't like a sex club, but it was like that kind of vibe, you know? It was like a weird dungeony kind of castle-ish kind
Yeah.
of thing. So that's a couple that kind of come to mind. But I mean, I've done a absolute million insane shows.
Yeah.
So everything from actual clubs to um, uh, club in what Kelowna was like you had to walk through a bunch of it was actually a really cool club, but it was you had to walk through a bunch of um racquetball courts to get to the room. Everyone was
Oh,
playing racquetball,
interesting. One of
squash,
those community
whatever they are. Yeah,
centers.
that
That
kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. But it
yeah.
was a bar.
The first time I saw Dave was in a barbershop. Like
Oh yeah.
performing in a it was a barbershop, I guess maybe during the day or maybe they were is barbershop slash bar. And I remember sitting on a in a barber's chair watching him perform. And what was really funny, it was hilarious. Um, he's performing, and it's somewhere near Castleloma, one of those streets. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
someone lived above, and this is at night, and the person came downstairs to complain that we're too loud, and he just tore a strip off the guy. After he left, I think Dave's a very polite person, but after he left, he just got pissed off, and it just made it that much more funnier. But
I bet.
that was the first place, and I go, "Holy shit, this guy's really, really, really good."
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
was a
so
funny
funny.
place. That was a funny
Yeah,
place.
that's being heckled by a resident is
Yeah.
you don't see that every day, for sure.
Do you
Um,
remember, Monty, the first joke or first bit that you ever told on stage?
I was trying to think back to the same day I was talking about because I was doing a show on it was a place called Chaos, which was a
Okay.
bar, and a gentleman named Christian Reimer, who was a longtime buddy comedian,
Yeah.
was running it, and Dave was on the show. And but I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I remember some of my early jokes,
Hmm.
but I don't remember the actual, like what was I trying to run right
Yeah.
at the beginning
Yeah.
from as because I was trying to think for the podcast, and I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus, I don't like I really don't know. I have like a few I can remember that
Yeah. One of your some of your earlier
were
stuff.
were really early. I remember I was doing a joke from that time period where I would talk about uh I blew out my sacroiliac, which is in like a joint on the on your hip and back, and
Yeah.
uh and then I was like kind of reminiscing and it was like the only time I heard that was like Maestro Fresh West,
Yeah. Yeah.
Let Your Backbone Slide, and I was like it's not so much it's not so much a dance recommendation, it is a medical recommendation. He was talking, so I tried to up him to being a doctor, I guess, rather than just a maestro.
Yeah.
And so I was along those lines of that. I forget exactly where the hook was on that, but I was also I remember one of the first jokes I did was about the cereal Sugar Crisp, where I had said
Yeah.
that they kind of ran it was like an article where they had said that Sugar Crisp has like 60 grams of sugar in each like serving or whatever, and I was like, well, how are people going to know that when they throw you off the scent with a clever name like Sugar Crisp? How are you going to know that's got a lot of sugar in it, And so I would just kind of go on about that. So those were a couple that were from that era, I guess,
Yeah.
of starting, And
Do you remember the first time you went on stage and you come off it, or during your set? Um, what was the crowd reaction like? And when you got off, how did it feel?
well, I'll tell you, for the first time I went, the actual first time I went on stage, and this was maybe a year or two prior to when I was talking with Dave, which was kind of the
Yeah.
first time um, I, I I went on stage, and it was Yuck Yuck's amateur night, and uh, I had a whole set like that
Yeah.
I really pretty meticulously put together, and I I kind of like I memorized. I've really worked at trying to get it because it's funny for anybody who's listening to this thinking about doing stand up. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do not bother to put. I was trying to put together a set as if I was gonna do Massey Hall or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Like
like
it had to be very
calm.
professional or something.
Yeah, I was like, well, this is like I'm putting together a set to dismantle a bomb. I'm like, bro, calm down. You can't. You don't even know how to perform. It's not gonna be good. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about it too much. But anyway, I had the whole shit kind of down, and I went on stage, and I've never performed before. I didn't perform in high school. I only did a high school drama
Hmm.
class, but I never performed on stage, and so I was really overwhelmed by the lights and everything,
Yeah.
and I really couldn't spit anything out. The only time I'd spit out like a few lines, and then I'd be like lost or confused, And then the only time I was kind of like normal was somebody was like kind of making fun of me, and I more or less was threatening them because I felt comfortable doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt comfortable to be somewhat hostile to the person who was kind of talking back to me, but otherwise I just couldn't really get it anything out. So I didn't even really give them a chance to laugh at anything. I can't even say I bombed. I was kind of like just a deer in headlights for sure. And
Wow.
I remember coming off and I just felt good.
Wow.
I Yeah, I
Okay.
was like I came away from it just being pleased because I'm like, you know what? That couldn't have gone worse. And I mean, I like I say, I mean, I guess it could have gone worse. I just couldn't even spit out a joke. So um, it could barely have gone worse, and I felt just good about it. I was happy I finally did it, and I'm happy that my reaction to it was like I wasn't mortified. I was just like good.
Yeah.
So I felt good about that.
Interesting.
I fe I felt good that I was like that went badly, and I don't. If anything, I feel good.
That is crazy. That's really, really interesting. Um, I've never asked this question, but someone had asked it. I heard a student ask a comedian this question. Um, how long did it take for you to find your voice?
Uh, yeah, that's a good question. Not long. I mean, I started stand up. I was like late 20s.
Yeah.
So I really already had a voice. So almost
Okay.
immediately. I would say
Interesting. Okay.
me stammering and not able to get a joke, I would say I had not yet found my voice because I was
Yeah.
unable to literally speak properly.
Yeah.
But like the next time I went out was the time I was telling you with Dave,
Yeah.
and I told a couple of jokes. It was only a few minutes. It was like 3 minutes little spot. And there was
Yeah.
barely anyone there, and I got it out and I was like, okay, that's me speaking like a normal human, taking an attempt at trying to tell some jokes. And then like
Yeah.
the next time around, I did it at a place called Betty's, which had just started. Is that King and Bathurst?
On King.
King and
Yeah. Yeah.
Sherburne? Yeah, that's where I really started comedy. Dave was on that show again,
Was it the
and that was
upstairs part? Was it the
yeah,
upstairs?
exact
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I did a that was the first set where I had a good set, where I was like I got my jokes out and everyone laughed
Yeah.
mostly, and I was like that was like good. And
Yeah.
so almost from that, so let's just say for the sake of argument, maybe 3 4 months. Once I was really kind of doing stand up and I was comfortable enough that I was like at least kind of comfortable. I My point of view was always there. I
Yeah.
always had a voice, really.
Interesting. Um, and what about your style? Has it evolved since you started? I'm going to guess it has, but maybe it hasn't.
It's evolved in some ways. Like, uh, I'd say probably the way of like there was a time when I did my jokes much faster, and
Okay.
I was kind of like I would kind of rifle through them. My pace was so much faster than it is now,
Yeah.
and part of it was like my mentality was weird in that I kind of did it like I was trying to get it over with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
I had like an allergy to the idea of silence. So it was
Mm,
almost like I felt every moment there was silence, I was like I'm fucking it up. And I always wanted to fill the silence with laughter by getting to a punchline or getting to a joke. So I was just considerably more rapid pace,
that's
which
very
worked okay,
interesting.
which worked okay, but it was not
Yeah.
it's not my natural cadence. It was considerably faster and it was just unnecessary. And so there was a
Yeah.
point um a number of years in where I just took it down a number of notches as far as speed goes and kind of pacing,
Yeah.
and more or less stayed the same. But as far as my kind of joke structure and everything, it hasn't changed too much. Like for whatever reason, I always knew how to write a joke, so
Okay.
I never really. I don't think I drastically changed it very much. It's more or less the same. Obviously, you're better at everything, but
Yeah.
I don't think it changed too much from structurally.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about silence, both from, letting the crowd react to what you're saying, but then also having that confidence of when you're speaking with someone, like when you're talking with a friend, it's not just rapid fire till the end of the conversation.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's that silence. Sometimes there's long silences, and I don't necessarily mean minutes of silence. I'm sure someone's got a bit where they're just staring at the crowd and everyone's just laughing at the person looking at them. But I think there's something to be said about being very confident in embracing silence.
100% it, 100% it is. And
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, I tell myself to um, be like to take it one notch back because
Yeah.
it'll work better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if even to this day, and it's not the same thing because it's like I say, it's drastically different than when I started, but it's still almost always good to remind myself to take it down one notch back.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear
You know?
you. Um, have you, I want to ask this question, and I don't mean it as a finality, but when did you know that you made it? Does that make sense? I don't mean when did that you got a Netflix special that now you've made it, but I don't know. When did you know, yes, I got this. This is my career. I am if I had a business card, it would say comedian on it. That's what I mean by made it. But when did you know that you made it? Or have you not reached that point? What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, for me, really, my only goal, my primary goal when I started stand-up comedy was to
Yeah.
be a touring headlining comedian.
Yeah.
And even though I don't know if I had the kind of thought, oh, I made it now, like when or how, but like say I was doing comedy maybe 3 years, and I quit my job, and that was not 100% because of comedy,
Yeah.
but because I had gone as far as I was going to go with that job, I didn't want to do it no more because I'd done it for quite
Okay.
some time,
Yeah.
and I didn't. I had some money. I didn't. I was like, now's the time. So it wasn't only comedy I'm quitting for, but it was like, so I would say in and around that time, in that I was confident that I was good enough to do that. So
Interesting.
I'd say in a way that's kind of like
Yeah.
how I felt I made it because I felt that confident that it would be like I could do it.
Okay. We've spoken a bit about other comedians like Dave Mirhaj on this podcast. Is there anyone that, whether they're an up and comer or someone that hasn't gotten their flowers in Canada, who would you name?
Oh, Jesus. Practically everybody in Canada. Uh, but I mean, I can say from um, well, I as examples, Ephemios Natsiopoulos, my buddy, Ephemios is hilarious. Nick Reynoldson, again, is hilarious. Could get all of them, and like so many different people I perform with should get more because there's not that much. Canada doesn't have nearly what it should for people getting accolades. You know what I mean? Um, it's very those that's a example of two people that are just hilarious and good friends of mine. But practically everyone on Comedy Records, who are all good
Yeah.
friends of mine, that are excellent comics, it would be in that boat too. Really,
Yeah.
you know, like. But it truly is so many different people in the country. Like you could go down a list of and varying degrees of they've got this or they've got that,
Yeah.
but sh they should have more, you know? And I think that
Fair enough.
you could say that for practically the whole practically the whole scene. Everybody who's good in the scene is
Yeah.
pretty much in that boat, you know?
People know about the comedy bar. Is it corner comedy or am I miss saying that one? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, corner
yeah,
comedy.
the
Where
corner.
yeah, where's a good spot that people can go to in Toronto to
Uh,
watch comedy?
I love performing absolute comedy, which is at Yonge and
Okay.
Eglinton.
Yeah.
So that is a big favorite of mine because they really know how to put together a really great, really good environment for laughter. You know what I mean? Like it's set up just excellent for that. The corner is exceptional as well.
Yeah.
Smaller kind of vibe, different kind of vibe, but really well set up and fun and a nice format where they're a little like absolute comedy. As an example, I was out a couple weeks ago, and I'm doing like 45 minutes in that instance for the week, right?
Yeah.
Corner is kind of more of a I think quote unquote like New York showcase style where it's like 15 minutes everyone does.
Yeah.
So but that's cool too, right? Because it's like um hopefully it wouldn't happen with me, but you could come see me and be like, yeah, this guy's all right, but it's not really my thing. But
Yeah.
you still got another 25 minutes of me kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas a corner is you're going to get a little bit of everyone, so
Yeah.
it's a bit more of a little bit more variety. So those two examples.
All right.
Comedy Bar is excellent in both their locations.
Yeah.
They're they're more of a grab bag too because it's individual producers, so you never each show is a little bit different. So
Yeah.
it'll vary a little bit more. Whereas those two comedy clubs, um, they're they're booking people specific to their kind of roster. So,
Yeah.
um,
Um, Monty, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining
oh,
me. If
my
people
pleasure.
want to follow you, keep up with your comedy and maybe some shows you're doing, where's the best place that they can find you?
Well, you can find me at montyscott.com. That's my
Okay.
website,
Yeah.
and you can get me at Monty Mofo Scott on Instagram or I guess Twitter if there's anyone's left. If you're a I mean, if you're a neo-Nazi and you're trying to get in touch with me
That's
on
the
Twitter,
place.
yeah, at Monty Mofo Scott is is there, and on Threads, I think it's Monty Mofo Scott as well. So
Awesome.
get me on any of those.
Perfect. My guest has been Monty Scott. Thanks for tuning into this episode of My First Joke. I hope you had as much fun listening as I had chatting with Monty. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to My First Joke wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Share it with your friends. Take a moment to review, rate, and five-star the podcast. You can also check out myfirstjoke.ca. My name is Karim Kanji. Monty, this is where I forgot to prep you, so we're going to do it live, no pressure. I'm going to say until next time, and you're going to tell me something profound or something not profound. You ready? Right off the top. Here we go. Until next time, remember these wise words from Monty Scott.
Don't piss into the wind.
Couldn't be better said. Monty, thank you so much.
Thanks, Graham. Take it easy, buddy. Nice to be
You
here.
too.